Hey everyone. I wanted to talk today about soul ties and covenants. In this time of transition, of God beginning to reposition us into new things, release us into new things, setting us up with, new relationships, divine connections, things like that. It's a really good time to check in with the Lord about any soul ties that you may have that need releasing, and releasing yourself from any covenants that you have willingly or unwillingly or unknowingly made that may still be holding you back or hindering your moving forward into what God has for you next. So with regard to soul ties, like we all understand and we know about soul ties to people, and there can be soul ties to people that we perhaps wouldn't even think that we had soul ties to. It can be old school friends, it can be teachers, it can be obviously parents, siblings, other family members, things like that. And, we're not cutting soul ties because they're bad people, but that there can be both good and unhealthy soul ties with the same person or place. So it's a good time to just check in with the Lord and say, okay, Lord, is there somebody that I need to break soul ties with? And so we just release them, we bless them, we take back what belongs to us, we send back what belongs to them. The other thing with soul ties is that we can also be soul tied to land. We can be, and I'm talking negatively soul tied, we can be soul tied to the land, we can be soul tied to a church, we could be soul tied to a house that we used to live in, to a business or an employer that we used to work for. It's not just necessarily to people. So it's a good idea to check in with the Lord on those two. Maybe he wants to shift you to a completely different city, but you've got a soul tie, an unhealthy soul tie to a place that you've lived for a long time. And that soul tie can just, not necessarily stop you from moving forward, but, why would we want to take all that unhealthy junk with us into the new? Now, in terms of covenants, we can make covenants, agreements with people. Jesus is in covenant with us, and when we choose him, we go into covenant with him. We come into agreement. There are times where we knowingly or unknowingly make relationship covenants with people. A marriage is an example. I suggest that if you've had previous relationships, that you deal with all of those soul ties. You can have, there can be agreements, written agreements, contracts that are basically covenants that you've entered into that maybe are no longer in place, but there's an emotional tie there. There might be a soul tie. Maybe you just need to release yourself from any ties still attached to that agreement that you had. I can think of, business agreements that are no longer in place or fell over because of dishonesty or betrayal or whatever. Perhaps, check in with the Lord. There may well be, you may well need to be able to do some work around that as well. So really, we just want to be able to move forward I guess with a clean slate, and just, you know, leave those things of the past behind. It doesn't mean that we forget. It just means that we are no longer emotionally or spiritually tied in or connected in a negative way with those people, places, organizations, churches, whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, there are places like we can say, oh, you know, that town is my home, you know, I'll never forget it. I never want to leave it, or whatever, you know, and those words can hold us in place. So anyway, there's some food for thought, some things for you to sit down with the Lord and explore, and see what He brings to your mind, and do what you need to do. Take care. Bless you.